ever seen the Fountain of Life or the Tree of Life movie with Wolverine? He's the
Yes.
Hugh Jackman. Hugh
I
Jackman.
haven't listened. I haven't watched that recently. I saw it when it first came out, and I was living in a lot of ignorance. And
Me too.
so I have a feeling that I probably should watch that again from
Go
the
watch.
place of where my heart is at right now.
Oh my gosh, I did that. I did that because I watched it 2 or 3 times now. And from the first time to the last time, I was like, oh my, I didn't see all of this. Like there's so much more information now because I didn't have the blinders on, so I couldn't see it, you know?
Yeah, it's like the first time you watch The Matrix and you come out going, "Holy crap! What kind of movie was that? Shit, I needed to buckle my seatbelt. Was this a horror flick or what was it?" And then you sit with it and you're like, dude, there's some deep spiritual stuff in that. I just don't
Yeah.
know what it is yet. And then you watch
That,
it 10 years later and you're like, oh my God. And you walk into another 10 years later. It's like, holy shit. It's like, is this a documentary? I mean, is this really what's going on? Oh
yep.
gosh. And so
Yep.
we've got The Matrix. What is it? What's the next one coming out on 12 or 12/22? Well, that's what it's called. Resurrections. It's called Resurrections.
Same thing.
I
Because
know, right?
that's just the next step to the revelation. After the revelation
Yes.
happens, that's when the resurrection happens. They're just going to take it to the next step. That's what we're living
Yes.
right now.
Yes.
And I got confirmation
Yes.
when I did some studying, and I'll send the video to you. This beautiful spirit, she did like a 14, 15-minute little breakdown, and she found the scripture, the word that showed exactly what we're going through right now. And it's in Revelations. I can't remember the chapter. I'll get it for you because it's in my phone. And
Okay.
it literally says, and the world was, I don't know if it's exactly fooled, but basically fooled by a pharmakia. And
Pharmakia.
pharmakia means pharmaceutical. And then also
Sorcery.
talked about how the kings came together and fooled them. And basically, it's the kings and the pharmaceuticals. And when you read that scripture, my mind was like, oh my gosh, if the Christians, the ones who go to church, if they just really knew that in here, they'd have no, they'd
Well,
have
it
no,
when you can see duality for what it is, and you can see that both sides are warring against one another, you begin to see that they're the exact same thing, just opposite poles. And
mhm,
then when your eyes are really open to it, you can rise above the chessboard and remove all of your pieces and refuse to play anymore.
no, thank you.
No. So, Spirit had me look at the moon for a while just during the moon phases, and it took me a bit because sometimes I can be a little dense up here if I'm approaching it from here instead of here. When I
Me
finally
too.
understood what it was saying, I was like, oh my gosh! When too much light is present, the darkness has to increase. And when
Yeah,
too much darkness is present, the light has to increase because it's always seeking balance. It's seeking neutrality. So
mhm.
even the things in the natural realm are actually, reflecting back to us so that we can see what's going on so we don't have to be manipulated anymore.
The
We don't have
volcano's
to
going off.
have the distortion of good and evil, because everything here is distorted anyway.
Ooh, 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 you just hit on a strong one. I don't know if it's gonna be a few weeks or a few months, but there's gonna be a time when people find out what they've been living, and they're gonna have to forgive all those people. And I think that's what me and you and all of us
Yes.
are for, because we're gonna have to tell them like, hey,
Yes.
no, 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 we're not putting our energy towards. I'm not. We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna go just hang Fauci and cut his head off and do that to him. No,
No. No.
no.
In fact, what we're going to see is we are going to have the full remembrance of every role we've ever played. And we will begin to see the negative pole that we've held. Like 3.5 years ago, I started having memories of past lives. Okay. Now
Me
this is
too.
not, I'm not, this is not bragging. This is just like, it was a holy shit moment for me because
Mhm.
I had no frame of reference for the theology I was standing in at the moment. So I was either completely batshit crazy or my theology needed to change. And what I began to
I don't think you're
see was
crazy.
a lot of the trauma. Well, yeah, a lot of the trauma that was replaying in this lifetime was based on trauma from previous lifetimes that never got reconciled. And so what ended up happening is kind of funny. I didn't get to see all the beautiful, fluffy, rainbow, unicorn, wonderful lives I lived. The lives that I saw were horrifying, like horrifying. And as I began looking at
Mm-hmm.
that, I began going, oh my God, this is how the whole thing works. So when we come in, we choose which pole we're going to play to assist the other pole. So those who chose the negative, like, so if you go back to Genesis 1, there's a portion in there in Hebrew that says the Elohim. I'm going to tell you the translation part of it, because the translators didn't say. They said, God divided the night or the dark from the light. That is not what it says. It says the Elohim were divided into light and dark.
You pick teams.
Elohim, creators. We were divided into light and dark for the sake of the system of duality.
To play a game.
So every incarnation, right? We're playing different poles. So the dark assists the light. And here you get a boost up because you have to have catalysts, right? You have to have pain and suffering for you to learn from. And somebody's got to be the one that's doing the pain and suffering aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody has to choose that pole. And then in the next life, you flip roles.
Mm-hmm.
And then the dark will help the one who was in the dark boost up in light. And we go back and forth. And once you see it, that's why what you said, and I totally agree. Once we see the fullness of what the roles we played, when everything is revealed and people are wanting to have people hung and shot, they are going to have to look within the darkness that they've had within themselves. And then that's when everybody's going to throw down their rifles, throw down all of their judgments, and walk away and embrace and say, without you, I couldn't be me. Thank you.
I'd still be asleep right now.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Because we're eternal beings.
Yes. I
And we
look at it
played.
like, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say we played many roles. And we've had a fantastic time and we've had a shitty time.
Mm.
We've done much, we've experienced a lot, we've taken the ability and powers that we've had and we've created civilizations, we've crashed civilizations, we've uplifted, we've squashed, we've destroyed, we've brought to life. And all of that is so that we could have an increased level of wisdom,
Mm-hmm. I so
because
resonate
the
with that.
greatest levels of creation we have not yet experienced yet, because we had to become wise creators. It's not just about now. It's not like we were just talking about of in this now moment. It is, but there is something much greater that we're moving into, and we learn
Mm-hmm.
it in our now because of that which is still coming, that will be through us in new creation. It's
Mm-hmm.
so exciting when you stop and you think about it. Oh my gosh, something brand new that we've had to be refined in that process so that we don't keep creating more of the same.
Mm-hmm.
Something new,
Beautiful.
never done, never seen. Wow.
I had that same experience you did. I think it was around March. I remember I write notes, so I write quotes, and so I'm a note taker. So whenever I have a download of something, I usually put it in there. And I wrote the date in there. It's like, this day is different than any other day I've ever experienced in my life. And uh, I watched a show. You ever heard of Dom and Her? It's a what country? Italy, I think Italy. Um, Basically, they're a community of people who only basically what we're going to create. They were one of the first people to create their own community, and they created it with their own hands. They dug a tunnel that was huge, and they have a temple, and in that temple they can go jump through time. In this shirt right here that you see, I made this shirt based off that TV show because they went back in time. They went to Atlantis, and when I watched that episode, the person who talked about it, he said, if you're ready, you're going to have a download after you go to sleep. After you watch this episode, when you go to sleep, you're going to have a download. I had that download like 20 minutes into the show. I had to like pause the show because I was just getting so much, like literally was the most energy at that time that I felt coming to me. And my higher self told me, said, this is what you've been asking for, allow. So I just allowed. And I'm so glad that my higher self said that, because if I wasn't allowing, when that energy hit me, I would have felt judgment. And so I opened up my heart and I felt love, because what the energy said is, you are the reason you're going through this. You're the reason Atlantis fell. And then I just started feeling like this big wave. And I was like, oh, I'm Atlantis. I'm feeling that energy hit me, that wave of energy. And it's like everybody that's going through duality right now, they're a domino that you first push. So judge not anyone, because they are just your reflection. And when
I
I
agree.
felt that energy, it freed me from Fauci. It freed me from Bill
Yes.
Gates. It freed me from all
Yes.
those people. It's like, I have no
Yes.
judgment towards you whatsoever. And you've experienced, duality that I don't remember currently, but I guarantee somewhere down the road, I've experienced that kind of duality. I've been that vibration. I've been that frequency.
That's so
And,
beautiful.
oh my gosh.
I
And
mean, this
it just,
stuff, it just wrecks you in such a beautiful way that, like you said, this day is different. This day is different than any other day. Like, that was perfectly summed up in knowing that these changes are happening and you are not the same. Because that's the whole point of revelation. It's not to puff up what you have up here to be able to share with other people. It's so that you are changed in that moment and transformed from glory to glory, so that you are not the same as you were before that revelation came. Because if you're seeking revelation without transformation, then you're just seeking it through the spiritual ego, and you're just going to create more of it. And nobody needs more spiritual egos walking around thinking they're gurus and sharing their bullshit stories.
high
High
five,
five.
sister. High five. Oh my goodness.
I
Oh
don't know. I
man.
mean, I used to chase that stuff all the time until I realized all the energy that was going through trying to relive somebody's other stories. It's like, okay, I want my own. And then I realized that when I began seeking the revelations, that new revelations wouldn't come until I did something with the old. So instead of waiting for that transformation to happen, take that revelation and do something with it now. You want more revelation? Then do something with the current one you've got, and don't expect anything more, because then you're just a spiritual pig.
Wow, we are extremely connected, because everything you're saying, metaphors have come and hit me. We live in an a la carte. Would you ever go to the a la carte and say, I hate these green beans in this steak, and look, they're eating animals, and this is horrible, and I don't know these people, this is a stupid, crazy society, ain't shit. And it's like, what? It's a la carte. What are you doing?
I know.
You love strawberries. Eat the damn strawberries. And shut up and smile and feel it. And
I know.
feel that beautiful, just, oh, wow, this tastes good. Wow. Why was I eating that stuff? I don't know. For the experience. I don't have to judge it. It was an experience.
Exactly. Exactly.
What
I just had this image. I just had this image of like these videos. See, I'm not a natural mom in this life, so I haven't had children, but I've seen plenty of videos, and I've been around my nieces and nephews. Like the first time they bite into a lemon, and it's like having life experience, right? Like, oh, that just got me here and here just thinking about it.
you can
But,
feel it like drinking
having
water.
life experience, you're not judging it, right? That's why that Christ consciousness is already in children, before they get programmed into the system of duality. And everything is just an experience. And I'm so excited that that's where we're going back. So it's like, okay, so I'm eating green beans. Okay, I've experienced that. And there's that strawberry. And it's like, ooh, there's the strawberry. But you're not really judging it. It's like, I've tried this and I've tried this and I've tried this and I've tried this. And I'm just experiencing it. I'm not saying I like it. I'm not saying that I don't like it. I'm just saying it is. And I'm getting to experience everything that's happening in the moment through that experience without any judgment. What is my body doing? What are my sensations doing? What is my heart doing? What is being activated in this system, in this temple? Because it is about the experiences.
You keep
So the
activating
second we stop judging, man, the second we stop judging and allow through loving awareness to have the experience flow through us, wow.